Hey y'all, hope everybody's getting tested with this new strain, or two new strains really. We've got the first strain, then the second strain from the UK, and now the third strain from Africa. So we've got a lot of strains to look out for, and they could be mutating into more strains, unfortunately. So I hope everybody's getting tested, and I know it's very tedious because, you know, you're not supported when you do, as far as I'm concerned, with bottled water, seats, accommodating people when they do roll up, and able to provide them a little bit of relief whilst waiting for hours. And I do believe that's got a lot to do with the government. So I hope that everybody is coping with getting tested. Now, my little him-ha niggle is to do with the backpackers here in Australia. May I remind these people that come to Australia have got so much freedom here in Australia on what they're allowed to do. And I find it appalling how these backpackers know very well if they were in their own home country, they would be in lockdown. They wouldn't be running around, they wouldn't be outside their front door. So why are the backpackers coming to Australia and putting on these parties, whether they're responsible or whoever was responsible for organising these parties of not 10 but hundreds, and now most probably they're super spreaders. Two stupid events that people decided to put on that may become super spreaders through backpackers and also idiots that live here in Australia that know backpackers and think, oh, well, why not? There was no mask wearing, nothing. No distancing, nothing. So if there's super spreaders, you guys are responsible. How dare you come to Australia and abuse the fact and abuse the right that you have got these freedoms here, which you don't have in your own home countries, and you come here and abuse ours, while Australian people are suffering in Australia, and there Australian people are trying to contain this contagion. But how can we, when we have irresponsible people coming from overseas and abusing the Australian system and running amok, and you couldn't care? The health minister, I'm going to say, and back him, because you might think, oh, he's a cranky old crank. The health minister here in Australia, lighten up. Well, the government isn't going to lighten up, you people. Things are going to get worse. You're going to spoil it for Australians here, and people in Australia, they're going to spoil it for us, because as I said in one of my tubes, all the beaches are going to be locked up. And it won't be through Australians, because Australians are trying to do the right thing. It's these irresponsible idiots, if I can call you that fly in and abuse the fact and abuse the rights they're being given and the freedoms that they don't have, but they have come here and they abuse ours. How dare you? And the health minister was so alarmed to think that these people would come here and abuse the fact when they are visitors. You are visitors here in Australian soil. So, if you don't watch out, you'll be asked to leave the country because you'll become a threat. Let alone the thought and the worry whether these two beach events will become super spreaders by the irresponsible idiots of society. And you're going to spoil it for Australians because our beaches will be locked up and we won't have anything. That's the way it'll become. And we've got a lot to contend with in Australia now and for the next year, the 21st century. So remember that. Otherwise you're not welcome here in Australia, and I think the Australian government is going to see sense and realise that irresponsibility, you're not wanted, goodbye. And that's the way it'll become, because we've got to protect our interests, the Australian interest, the Australian people. The people here in Australia, we're trying to do the right thing with this contagion. But people that come to Australia, that don't live in Australia, that abuse our freedoms and our rights, should be dealt with. And the Health Minister, I think, is appalled, like most Australians would be appalled. So remember that. No sooner you are in Australia, you could be asked to leave. Also, remember that, backpackers. Like, subscribe and comment. But remember, because we have a responsibility here in Australia to protect ourselves from the contagion. And people that come to Australia that irresponsible should be asked to leave Australia. Because if we went to your country, do you really think the countries all around the world that are suffering with this contagion would put up with an Australian carrying on? I don't think so. So, remember that. Be responsible or get out of Australia. I back the Health Minister. He's not a crank. He's a person that's concerned about the Australian people and where this contagion and the new strains are leading us. So wake up and grow up. I will say my 4 codes: respect, dignity, honour and integrity. They'll serve you well. And, of course, faith. Till next time, look after yourself, keep away as much as you can out of shops, that sort of thing, because Boxing Day and all that sort of thing, it's been and gone, and as we've seen, there weren't a lot of people out at all, because it's not worth dying for a product when you can order it online. That's the way things are going. So be wise, stay home, minimise you going out, do things that you've got to protect yourself and your family, and Australia too, because we're a strong nation, we're strong people, we do stick together, we will get through this. So remember all the things that the government wants you to realise. It's not a conspiracy. There's nothing going on. But the government is trying. And we've got to try. So the people that come here to Australia, you will try also, or otherwise head home, back to your own home, if you're not going to respect ours. But as I said, do all the things that we've got to do to protect ourselves from this contagion and the new strains. But until next time, see y'all. Hope you're with somebody you're safe with, happy with. Until next time, see y'all. Look after yourself. and keep yourself safe and away from this contagion. And remember, masks. They won't protect us fully, but they will protect us. So be wise and wear a mask. Sanitize, spray your benches, do all the things you need to. And keep away from people that are sneezing, got a cough. Be wise. Till next time, see y'all. Hope you like my tube.